Hello aspirants, in this video we'll be covering the PIB highlights of 21st of March. So hope you all are doing good and your preparation is going good as well. So do rate these videos on this particular link of Unacademy, and you can also rate and review the videos. So let's begin. Firstly, we have under history culture, we have 5th Rashtriya Sanskriti Mahotsav. So this particular Mahotsav, it is to be organized in northeastern region by Ministry of Culture. Important point here is that under Ministry of Culture, we have 7 zones of cultural centers. And this particular Rashtriya Sanskriti Mahotsav, it will be organized by Northeast Zone Cultural Center, which is located at Dimapur. And Dimapur is in Nagaland. Also, the festival would be inaugurated in Arunachal Pradesh, and then on it would be extended to other northeastern states. So there will be a talk of certain lost or certain fringe folk arts such as Behrupiyas, Bazigars, Kachi Ghodi, etc. So do remember the important points here. Moving on, we have this the proposal for transforming INS Virat into an aircraft museum. So which state government came up with this proposal? It is Andhra Pradesh government, but Ministry of Defence did not agree to it. Next, coming on to society related issues, we have National Ayurveda Day. This is not a new news here. So just a revision, National Ayurveda Day was celebrated by Ministry of Ayush in remembrance of Dhanvantri or on the occasion of Dhanvantri Jayanti, which is also known as Dhanteras. Then we have Mission Madhume, which is to control diabetes using Ayurveda. Next, we have None for the Road. Amazing article written in Indian Express yesterday. So it talks of whether prohibition on alcohol will work or not. So it is basically a pro-prohibition article. It speaks of the fact that it will work. Now let's see how and why is this topic in news. Firstly, the context is Supreme Court has come up with this ban on liquor shops on national and state highways. But reaction, you may call it funny or you may call it very intelligent. So reaction is that liquor lobby, what it did was it resulted into such steps whereby the management of the highways, that is national and state highways, that was transferred to municipal corporations to basically find out a loophole from the Supreme Court ban. So this was the reaction. Now, what could be the counterpoints that you may give against this particular ban by Supreme Court? Firstly, you may say, why only ban the liquor shops? Why exempt bars that serve wine, whiskey, etc.? Even bars are equally dangerous to health, not just liquor shops which are located on highways. Second counterpoint which you may give is the number of or the quantity of people who drink alcohol in India, that is comparatively lesser. So only 20% of adults in India, they consume alcohol. But the problem here is, now again the counter to it is, per head consumption is very high. So for example, if you look at countries such as Pakistan and Bangladesh, there the annual per adult consumption is 100 to 200 ml, whereas in India it is 4000 ml. So what has happened in Pakistan and Bangladesh whereby the consumption is so less? See, the culture in all of these countries, including India, is anti-alcohol. If religions in Pakistan and Bangladesh go against alcohol, even religion in India go against alcohol. But the problem here is that government policy in Pakistan and Bangladesh is also anti-alcohol. While if you look at the government policy here, we are slightly not in favor of prohibition all the time. So prohibition is a big step here, right? So, but the fact of the matter is that if you look at Pakistan and Bangladesh, it can be seen that consumption can be controlled with the help of government policy. Also, do remember culture plays an important role when you have such social evils at place. Moving on, then there is a counter towards the ban. Some people might contend that what will happen to the individual's freedom of choice. It is his or her freedom of choice to drink, right? But the counter to this is it a free choice? Is it a free freedom of choice? No, it is not, because once you take on alcohol, it is alcohol which dictates the choice and not your sensible brain. Then you could counter or speak in the favor of ban. And how will you speak in the favor of ban? Road accidents in India, they are among the top 10 causes of deaths, and road accidents, in them, drunken driving is one big cause. Then we have, once any person consumes alcohol and drives, it is not just his or her life they are putting to risk, they are also putting lives of their wives, children, poor sleeping on footpaths, etc. on risk. So it's basically a third party damage as well. So it basically talks of freedom of life of other people. So overall, the issue comes under the realm of social policy. Even our constitution has given the state the freedom to go for prohibition. Do mention the article in the comment section. Then we move on to conclude the article, whereby the article says that cultural influence in India is anti-alcohol, and this culture must be complemented by government policy as well. So for example, it cites countries such as France and Italy, whereby the culture was of drinking. In our countries, we might say that the culture is not pro-drinking, right? But in countries such as France and Italy, the culture was pro-drinking and is still pro-drinking. But with the help of government policy, the consumption has been reduced by a large amount. So finally, there's a very beautiful conclusion here. Do remember these, and it's a very well thought of conclusion. Alcohol consumption will never turn zero. Even if you bring about prohibition, it might not turn zero because there will be this underground market going on. Gujarat is a classic case of it. So this is asking whether prohibition will be a success or failure is a wrong question. What is the right question? You must ask that did prohibition reduce alcohol consumption? Might not be zero, but did it reduce? If it reduced, then it's a successful idea. So here are the questions which you may just think upon, not properly framed. These are just topics which you may think upon. Do prohibition work? Second, role of government policy and laws or legal measures to curb social evils. Third, impact of culture in the social upliftment or in curbing of social evils. And finally, judiciary and its role in social policy. Then we have National Framework for Malaria Elimination, not a new news. This is just a revision. So why is it important right now also? Because it's the time frame for which this is being done. It is valid right now also. To 2016 to 2030 is the period where this program will be done. So net aim is to eliminate malaria throughout country by 2030. This is a graded action plan whereby firstly we'll be focusing on low incidence areas and moderate incidence areas. So category 1 and category 2. In them, malaria will be eliminated by 2022. Moving on, we come to category 3, which is high transmission areas. In high transmission areas by 2027, we'll be interrupting the indigenous transmission of malaria. And final aim is to make the country malaria free or eliminate malaria by 2030. So you can read in detail the whole provisions. Moving on, we have Central Council of Indian Medicine and Central Council of Homeopathy. Both are statutory bodies. That is the main point here. The acts under which they have been formed is also mentioned. Also, Medical Council of India is again a statutory body formed under Medical Council Act 1956. Then we have the Central Council for Research in Ayurvedic Studies. It obviously comes under Ministry of Ayush. Its role is to promote research not just in Ayurveda but also in Sova Rigpa, which is a Tibetan medicine system. Moving on, we have come up with this health policy right now, whereby we talk of increasing the health expenditure to 2.5% of GDP. If you are questioned that what is the current health expenditure, so as per the Economic Survey 2016-17, the expenditure right now is 1.4% of GDP. Then we have this small snippets here. World Health Statistics is published by WHO, plus National Health Profile is published by Central Bureau of Health Intelligence, which comes under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Then we have NCD Global Monitoring Framework. So on a global level, to cut down non-communicable diseases, there was this framework, and India became the first country globally to adopt this framework. So for example, it keeps a check on obesity, diabetes, etc. Then we have under economics, we have a conference of CAG, that is Comptroller and Auditor Generals of Commonwealth nations and British Overseas Territory. Why is it important? Because it's the first time that India is hosting this conference. It will be hosted in New Delhi. The theme is given here. Also, this conference is held every 3 years. Then we have industry, just a small snippet. Industry, just like agriculture, it's a state subject. Then we have this scheme, FAME India, though once we had covered this in PIB as well. It's not something new here. So FAME stands for Faster Adoption and Manufacturing of Hybrid and Electric Vehicles in India. It is collaborated or being managed by Department of Heavy Industry, and it will be implemented in phases over a period of 6 years. So the first phase is being implemented right now in the financial year 2015-16 and 16-17. Then we have Annual Survey of Industries. Who publishes it? CSO publishes it, which comes under Ministry of Statistics. Then we have Automotive Mission Plan. So Automotive Mission Plan 2026, who framed it? Government of India with the help of Indian automotive industry. Need not remember all the objectives. Broad framework is to basically promote Make in India, Skill India, exports of automotives and so on. So it aims to bring Indian automotive industry among the top 3 of the world, thus contributing to over 12% of India's GDP. Then we have, just like we covered, RoRo services in the NCR region. Similarly, Inland Waterway Authority of India, whose headquarters are located at Noida, it has come up with a similar service, RoRo Terminal, which is built on Brahmaputra River. So this is on National Waterway 2, and the vessel is named as MV Gopinath Bordoloi. Then we have in security related, we have Sahayak system, very important. So we had covered one MCQ also on this particular topic. So Sahayaks, they were earlier known as orderlies. The nomenclature was changed in 1983, so it was changed from orderly to Sahayaks. See, these are not separate category in army. So there is not certain separate recruitment for Sahayaks. These are normal soldiers, but they provide support to officers and junior commissioned officers in the army. So they have clearly defined duties. Also, they work both in peacetime as well as war to act as buddies for the officers. So this is about Sahayak system. Then we have about India-Nepal Joint Exercise Surya Kiran, and Government of India is coming up with National Marine Police Training Institute in Dwarka in Gujarat. Then we have in environment, we have International Day of Forests. So just go through it. It's very simple and elaborately written here. Then we have these MCQs on today's session. One is related to MSG, monosodium glutamate. Important, why? Because Karnataka Health Department is trying to ban it. Then we have about vitamin D deficiency. This was in news because in Gurgaon it has been seen that various people are suffering from vitamin D deficiency. Then we have about Kayotsarg. This is from static portion. Then we have about these 3 hydroelectric projects whose data Pakistan has demanded from India. So therefore these were in news. So do check it out in the MCQ session, and you can also rate and review the course. Also recommend these lessons to your friends as well. Thank you so much.